All right, I'd like to call the Plan Commission meeting for Monday, December 11th, 2023 at 6 p.m. to order. Roll call, please.
Cronin,
Here.
Snow,
Present.
Deason had to quick run home, so he'll be back. Gurnt is supposed to be calling in, but he's not online yet. Hoffman,
Yes.
Jordan,
Here.
Wilbur.
Here. Public comments. Anybody online or in the audience that wishes to make a comment? Second time, anybody online or in the audience? Third time, any comments? Hearing none, we'll move along. Minutes from previous meetings. Item number 3, minutes from November 13th, 2023 joint PC and ETZ meeting.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mumper. Second by Pincinel on the question. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Communications, disclosures, and recusals. Members of the body should make any required disclosures or recusals during this time. Do we have any? Okay. Item number 4, written communications received.
Don't have any.
All right. Public hearings. Zoning map and text amendments, conditional uses, and related requests. Project number 2023-0326, Thomas Him requesting a conditional use permit at his residence at 6307 Richards Avenue to exceed the allowed amount of accessory structure floor area in the SFL single family residential large lot zoning district by 72 square feet. I'll open the public hearing and presentation by applicant and or staff.
Yeah, so Thomas is looking at building a 784 square foot garage. It'll be used for personal storage and possibly a workshop. With there being a shed on the property and a detached little sauna, it would exceed the 1,000 square feet. So that's why it's before you. The building will look like the principal structure in terms of the siding and the shingles. It will be a little taller than 15 feet, but it will not be taller than the principal structure. The garage as proposed does meet all setbacks. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They are here if you have any questions for them. Otherwise, it is pretty straightforward.
All right, thank you. Do you folks have anything you'd like to add?
No.
Just want to let you know how helpful Aaron and Travis have been helping us to understand this process. So it's basically all you really need to say. It really helped us a lot to be able to follow the rules and stuff.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. And public comment period. So is there anybody online in the audience that wishes to make a comment on this matter? Second time, anybody online or in the audience? Third time, anybody online or in the audience? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Recommendation from staff.
Staff recommends approval.
And discussion and action by the Plan Commission.
Now to clarify on the square footage, we measure by square footage of the building footprint, right? Not by the.
Correct. So it is a 6 foot overhang, and in talking with Roman, they typically allow the typical 2 feet. So I don't know what the consensus was on, do we add the additional 4 feet added onto the square footage of the 784?
But the building didn't get any bigger, right? We just made it overhang.
Right. Correct.
So what is our code state? Because if you can go to 97% of the homes that are constructed here, the single family homes and multifamily homes, they all have an overhang. So is that counted as square footage of the building? I don't think so.
No, not the
Why would we
first,
count it
not
on
the
the
first 2 feet.
Does it specifically call out that the first 2 feet are free and everything after that you gotta pay to supersize it or what?
That would be a Roman question. I don't know how they would calculate that afterwards if it's more than 2 feet.
Can I hold out in our code?
In the zoning code, I don't know. Possibly under state code for structures, but I don't recall in our code or not.
But this is just for us. This has nothing to do with the state. He has to meet the uniform building code, which is his plans are gonna meet, or he's gotta work with Roman on that. That's not in this meeting. That's a different meeting. That's between Roman directly, Roman and Travis and the builder. I knew it, no
Secretary.
issue with the overhang, but I'm just wondering why it's even coming to us for that question, if we have to make some determination on that, or shouldn't that already be called out?
It doesn't look like the 6-foot overhang is coming into any of the calculation.
It's
Are you-
not
Are you
as
thinking,
is.
are you thinking
No.
that that 6 foot is in part of the part of the calculation?
It's
Cause
not.
I didn't include that, I just included the 28 by 28,
Sure,
the actual garage structure.
could have swore I read something in here, it says unless.
Well,
the
784
6 foot
is the
included in which-
garage itself. They did say that if you were to add the overhang, it would add an additional 168 square feet,
I knew I read it somewhere.
but it's not calculated in that
Yeah,
784.
we just weren't sure, so we wrote that in there.
Yeah, that's
Just
purposely
based off.
It was just based off the footprint, right?
So-
Yeah,
so
there
it's like-
used to be something that allowed like a 2-foot overhang, but I don't think it's in this code. It was in a previous code.
Can't live in it. You're golden on that.
Secretary Parker, can you just make note that Dave Deason entered at 6:03? Thank you.
And then the total number of accessory structures, this exceeds that also, right? Cause you already have an attached and a detached garage, and it's the second detached garage?
I have a shed.
They have a shed and a sauna.
Shed
Got it.
and a sauna.
So this would be their first classified detached garage.
And then Gary Gert just logged in too,
Thank you.
606.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Any questions? So we go through the questions. I don't even know what you would call it besides the questions. Termination. All right, item number 1 is the proposed conditional use consistent with the comprehensive plan, this chapter, and all other plans, programs, and ordinances adopted by the village.
Yes.
Yes. The proposed conditional use and its proposed location and as depicted on the required site plan will not result in a substantial or undue adverse impact on nearby property, the character of the neighborhood, environmental factors, traffic factors, parking, public improvements, public property or rights of way, or other matters affecting the public health, safety, or general welfare, either as they now exist or as they may in the future be developed. As a result of the implementation of the provisions of this chapter, the comprehensive plan, or all other plans, programs, and ordinances adopted by the village.
Yes.
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 That's loud.
Turn it down a little.
One click above mute.
Does the proposed conditional use maintain the desired consistency of land uses, land use intensities, and land use impacts as related to the environs of the subject property?
Yes.
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 Is the proposed conditional use located in an area that will be adequately served by and will not impose an undue burden on any of the improvements, facilities, utilities, or services provided by public agencies serving the subject property? Yes. Do the potential public benefits of the proposed conditional use outweigh potential adverse impacts of the proposed conditional use after taking into consideration the applicant's proposal and any requirements recommended by the applicant to ameliorate such impacts?
Yes.
Motion.
Approved. Second.
Motion by Pincinel, second by Deason. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So carried. You're all good to go. Thank you. You're welcome to stay if you want. If you want to leave, that's fine too.
Exciting, thrilling stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No problem. Thank you.
We'll be here next Monday too. More excitement coming on next Monday.
If you want to come.
At the board meeting,
More people should be here, you're right, in general.
you can always participate via Zoom.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Thanks. All right, project number 202300188, Dustin Vreeland on behalf of owner Apex Capital Ventures LLC, requesting an amendment to the conditional use permit to allow for a personal storage facility within the B3 general business zoning district on a 4.96 acre property addressed as 8211/8311 Schofield Avenue, Weston, due to a change in site plan. I'll open the public hearing. Presentation by applicant or staff.
Yeah, so there was a few changes to the overall site layout here from what was previously approved back in August. It essentially just the shape of the stormwater pond changed up front and the layout of the buildings I did attach. The previously approved site plan and the currently proposed site plan, as you can see, the building shapes change, but overall it's relatively the same. Dustin is here if you have any additional questions, but that's the reason it's coming back for an amendment.
So basically what we did is we shrunk the buildings. We had those.
Dustin, can you just, for the record, can you state your name and address, please?
Dustin Reland, 6103 Collins Street, Weston.
Thank you.
So basically what we did is the cost of those 90-foot buildings that we originally had in there just got so high that they decided to go with smaller buildings in the middle. And then in doing so, we just had to reshape the stormwater pond just to make the park or driveway through their work. Essentially all that changed.
Okay. Anything else?
That's
No?
all I got. Any questions? Here, answer.
All right, thank you, Dustin.
The square footage of the pond is the same, it's just a different shape.
Correct. We're limited on the amount of green space that we already had. We're already pushing to 80%, so we couldn't change it much anyways. So all we had to do is just rework it around so that we could add asphalt in different areas and more green space in different areas.
Public comment period. Is there anybody online or in the audience that wishes to make a comment? Second time, anybody online or in the audience that wishes to make a comment? Third time, any comments? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Recommendation from staff
Staff recommends approval of the amendment.
and discussion and action by the plan commission.
We need to redo the
We do, yes, if you would.
determination.
I do have one question. Are we, is all the elevation, the elevated materials and everything on the front facing side gonna remain the same? Or?
So back when you guys approved this originally, they were the first storage unit on the agenda. And when you got to the Wiesman one, we realized that they did not have the elevations correct. So we were given as staff, work with them. So it took a while, but we did get updated elevations and that's what you have in there. I know Jim brought up some questions on it today, whether those were elevated materials. But we had talked to Roman beforehand. He felt they were. So I guess I defer to him being at a discussion if we want to talk more on elevations. Essentially what he said is and I think Joe has said this before, all the materials keep changing so fast that, we just have some general statements in the code that you guys had changed, I don't know if it's within the last year or the last 2 years, to kind of fine tune that. But when Roman looked at them, he said they were fine.
But do you guys know what the materials are? Like, obviously, one would think that, we're looking at page 47. One would think that the stone is stone, whether it's natural stone or fake stone.
I got the answer. So it's gonna be black charcoal gray brick, copper colored is what they're going with for their color scheme. So Aaron emailed me 2 questions today. One was the 4 feet of brick. It's gonna be black and charcoal gray brick. That'll be the copper steel. And then the steel is gonna be mild steel with copper roof and trim, black steel on sides and edges. So if any of you have been up by the Wausau one off of Burger Lane, you've driven past that one over there.
Where's that at?
Off County Highway Z in Burger Lane in the town of Wausau.
Is that right off the intersection with Camp Phillips, like just to the
Yeah.
west?
Yep, yeah,
Okay,
just
yep.
over there.
Outside
Yeah,
on that.
that's the color scheme that they're going with, same color scheme.
Oh, yeah, you're right, east.
Never eat side.
Yeah, with the upside down rock, right?
Yeah, with the rock,
Yeah.
yeah.
You should have just said that, that would have been easier.
No, that's the wrong one. That's the other side of the road.
Oh,
The other.
is it?
Yeah, that's the west side. This is where Revi used to be,
Oh,
right on
okay.
that corner on your way out of town.
With the flag, right? The big flag.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's on the west side of the road.
Got it. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, on the elevation, was it just because the building was too long, you didn't wanna do it that way? Like, I have no, I feel that it's silly that we would we're originally gonna do this, or we're just doing the smaller building to meet the green space,
Well,
or the longer building was too expensive.
Trusses got too expensive, because they'd have to bring in a crane operator to bring in those 90-foot long trusses. So that's why they wanted to shrink them down to 45-foot. Make it a whole complex entrance.
Anything else, Jim?
Yeah, as long as the material is actually an elevated material, because there's no percentages or anything on here. But it sounds like staff is working with that. If it's a standard issue metal panel, that's not an elevated material. But if it's not the like base entry level panel, I don't know what these look like, it's just a drawing. Generally, we have that stuff here.
I think you said Roman said it was okay, correct?
We asked him before he left, yes.
Okay. Great, we'll go through the determination. Is the proposed conditional use consistent with the comprehensive plan, this chapter, and all other plans, programs, and ordinances adopted by the village?
Yes.
Proposed conditional use and its proposed location and as depicted on the required site plan will not result in a substantial or undue adverse impact on nearby property, the character of the neighborhood, environmental factors, traffic factors, parking, public improvements, public property or rights of way, or other matters affecting the public health, safety, or general welfare, either as they now exist or as they may in the future be developed as a result of the implementation of the provisions of this chapter, the comprehensive plan, or all other plans, programs, and ordinances adopted by the village. Yes. Does the proposed conditional use maintain the desired consistency of land uses, land use intensities, and land use impacts as related to the environs of the subject property?
Yes.
Yes. Is the proposed conditional use located in an area that will be adequately served by and will not impose an undue burden on any of the improvements, facilities, utilities, or services provided by public agencies serving the subject property?
Yes.
Yes. Do the potential public benefits of the proposed conditional use outweigh potential adverse impacts of the proposed conditional use after taking into consideration the applicant's proposal and any requirements recommended by the applicant to ameliorate such impacts? Yes. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the amendment to the conditional use permit number 20230188, construct and operate a personal storage facility within the B3 zoning district at 8211 Schofield Avenue.
I'll
Motion
second that.
by Mumper, second by Gurnt. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So carried. Thank you, Dustin. Staff reports, we want to take them separately or together? 7 and 8, number 7, 2023, staff approved certified survey maps, and site plans, and item 8, November 2023, building permits.
Acknowledge 7 and 8.
Second.
Motion by Pincinel, second by Deason. On the question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So carried. Miscellaneous, number 9, project updates, subsection A, comprehensive plan / court.
So you have my report. As you can see, things are kind of winding down. Things are under construction. We did get today a small subdivision that will be coming before you as starting the preliminary plat process in January. It's for the Will property that you guys saw last year in 2022, where they rezoned off of Arrowhead Estates there. So it's a little different because part of the property has been sold, the south part that runs along the railroad. And I can't remember how many lots. Is it like 10?
Something like that, yeah.
It's 8 or 9.
So it's just kind of a road in now and kind of stopping at that property line.
Far east side.
So
arrow,
anywhere from
United
an
States,
acre to
up to
3
Ringo.
acres size
North
for
of
the
Schofield
lots.
Ave, east of J.
And it'll be extension of that road from Arrowhead Estates. There, I can't remember which one it's called, but so you should see that next month.
Property sale
Do you have to work anything on a public safety, or was there a deal in that with the
With Ringo, yeah.
Ringo or something?
We'll have
Yeah,
to
Michael's
figure something
been
out for
doing
snow plowing.
The snow plow, that's, yeah, I was trying to remember what, yeah.
We'll have to go through Ringle to get
To
there.
get, yeah, I was just gonna say, just so we remember.
Yeah,
that
we
issue.
had met originally with, Keith and I met with the town board. They came back at the other building and kind of started the discussion, and then Michael has been talking to them, but that whole project kind of dropped. Ted, or was it Daryl Will? I don't remember which Will it was, but he sold it to a Sutton, and Mr. Sutton decided to sell it. So it's now gone to 2 different people. Someone's farming it, and then there's 2 guys who are investing in it. One guy is planning to live in one of the ones, so.
So there's some potential that that road be still.
Yeah,
Go
we
through there at some
left
point?
it so that it could
Okay.
eventually. Right now, the guy plans to farm on that south side, so we just have them planning to go to the lot line so that it could extend in at a later date. The comprehensive plan corp, Sean has the corp done. The comprehensive plan, I still need to read through, and we're working on the maps. Nate has those. It's gonna change up a little bit from the current way that we're doing things, just because of some of the not knowing what's gonna happen in some of those areas. We're looking at some flex districts, so we'll kind of have to talk about that. So it could be like a commercial industrial flex, because really we're not sure what's gonna happen over on over by like the Amazon site right now. You don't know if that's gonna be more commercial or if you're gonna have some ancillary like restaurant. You're not really sure, but we don't wanna. Yeah, and we don't wanna pigeonhole ourselves. When we did the last comprehensive plan, that was when the sports complex was being looked at next to Business Park South. So we had that in as more of like commercial hospitality. So this plan is a little bit different than we normally would do, because you guys have already, what we're doing is basically incorporating all those master plans that you guys have done over the last 3-4 years. So the Weston Avenue plan, the Camp Phillips plan, the Schofield Avenue plan. So typically when we would do a major update, which will happen in a few years, we'll have that whole public input process. That was all done during those specific quarter plans. So now what we're doing is just adding those in and bringing that land use map up. Also incorporating some of the housing information that has kind of come forward since the RPC did the housing study and since the state laws have changed. So that will be coming to you right after the first of the year. And then the department has chosen as our strategic plan priority item, the building permit process to review and kind of look at an improvement plan for anything. So kind of looking at all our permits, are they in line with you know, where others in the area are there things that we need to maybe add, things that maybe we don't need to have permits on anymore? And also looking at just the evolve process. I kind of want to sit down with staff and kind of go through step by step on exactly what we're requiring people to submit for them. Do they make sense anymore? And also working on, Emily had kind of started it during COVID, kind of some fact sheets for people for the different permits that we could hand people or have online, so that they know exactly what they need to have when they actually start the process. So that will be done over the course of next year.
All right. I remember.
I guess the only other thing is to introduce Jamie.
Oh,
We should
yeah.
have probably, I didn't know she was
Probably
gonna
should
come,
have
so I should have had an introduction on the front of the agenda, but we now have a new village administrator, so she will be attending, I'm sure.
Now I feel bad, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Steve, how could you have?
Pretty easy.
Can I ask a quick question?
But
Steve?
Gary, maybe if I wasn't rushing to get out of here, says, because, you know, you said you had to see the Packer game. I
Oh,
would-
I'd never said that.
Okay.
But real quick question, I just was wondering if anybody's, if one of the inspectors are there or anybody's. Okay, what's going on with the retaining wall that fell over? I mean,
Oh, they have totally new engineered plans I saw last week.
all right, we walked away from that project because of that, because we were told that they put them walls up all the time and they were gonna be just fine, and we said, no, we need to put geogrid and we need to tie it back in, we wanna know. But we knew it was gonna be an issue. I just wanna make sure for public safety wise, that something is being engineered, because they didn't wanna listen to us on the front end. And again, I'm not trying to bring that up. I just was concerned about it falling already. And then if the village is going to require some proof that it has been engineered by somebody, the second time with some geogrid to hold it back, because that's a bad corner there and a lot of height there and a lot of rainwater.
We did get stamped structural engineering plans, and if you go out there, there are different blocks for the base layers.
Okay,
Be interesting to see how they go about constructing it with what has been done to date, so.
yeah. Well, and they've chose, well, I'll end there, but it'll be interesting. So I just was making sure that was gonna be okay. Just, again, we get somebody driving back there else and we get somebody killed, and it's something that we allowed to go through the village, you know, and it could get sticky, that's all. Not that it's our responsibility, but I think at this point we should be definitely requiring, and thanks for verifying that, Michael.
Yeah, and that's one thing Roman and I talked about, you know, as Jen kind of alluded to, what are things we don't permit. So right now, we don't permit retaining walls, we don't ask for that. But we're thinking that should be something we start doing, if at least there's a certain height maybe that they are, so.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense.
So I guess if you have any suggestions, other than that, send them our way and we can kind of look into it and make sure that we have the regulations in place too. We'll also talk about, when we had talked in the summer about maybe the inspection fees being more. This is kind of a project where, Travis have been there a lot. I know the utility guys have been there a lot, so. And then Mark just sent an email about the access point. That was something that was never really discussed. I mean, I wasn't aware that they were gonna close off anything, so. We don't typically ask for those kind of plans either, so that's maybe something that we should ask for if they're planning on closing off accesses for the frontage road into Festival, so.
It was on the plan to be open.
Right.
That's that question.
It will be after
Yeah,
construction.
it is on there, but not during construction. Like, I don't think anybody knew that they were gonna close it off.
Which one did they
in the amount of
close?
time.
The
Like, you
Volkman
have to
Street.
do a
Open
U-turn
street entrance?
to go in,
Okay,
come around.
Kind of the main one.
yeah.
There's been
I
so
haven't
many
been over
close
there.
calls there. I go through that intersection every single day. It's terrible.
Hmm.
And then when they had it down to one lane too, I mean, you had people pulling out of the gas station that
Right.
they didn't know where to go.
I
thought that was one of the questions that we asked, and I know I was conscious of that because we asked those questions when we were bidding it, was how are you gonna get access to that grocery store? When you have sewer and water that's going across there, how are we gonna continue that? Because you can only go left out, or excuse me, right out on the way out of that entrance. So, I thought we asked those questions when they came in. I thought that access was supposed to stay open. And it was just gonna be temporary shut for a day or two for sewer and water.
Their water took a little longer than expected too.
Right.
Well, yeah, well, again, I don't wanna say why, but we know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they-
Well, I think we should get back on. I think we're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. Steve wants to watch a Packer game.
It's not what I said.
We're not all there right now.
Jen, just something to add to Jen's, because I saw on her list, the chicken license and the local regulation of fowl that got it, where did they, the state, I think?
Yeah, it's at the state, so I have that on the agenda for next week for the board.
Yeah, I asked if we could, as a board, take action to write yeah, I see that.
It's illegal too, it's a rooster.
Yeah.
send the letter as a board to the, to our
What
state
you've been up to.
legislators and say that we're not in favor of that, so that should be coming forward next week. All right, item number 10, announcements and committee commissioner remarks and staff referrals. We put that all in one. Wow,
We told you we had to be out of here.
yeah. Michael, anything?
I have nothing.
Jen?
Additional.
Aaron? Valerie? Jamie?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Travis? Roy?
I'll just be quick and say, can we have an item for next month in regards to the retaining wall? Or is that too soon?
No, we had plans.
Yeah. We received a stamp, like just kind of a status update of what they're at.
No, I'm saying about adding.
Yeah.
some kind of-
Oh, adding the
Adding some kind of
requirement for it.
Oh,
As far as
okay.
It's not gonna
requirement
be
for
too quick.
That might be
structurally,
too quick.
structurally engineered,
Maybe
you know, over
February.
a certain height.
Yeah, we'll
We got a lot of they got a lot of time off coming up because of the holidays.
Yeah, as I said, is it
Yeah.
too soon?
Well,
next
I'll
month?
just add it on there so we don't forget, but that'll be part of that whole building permit process review over the next year.
And for the car wash, I remember asking about that wall, and they said it was 7 feet. It was gonna be 7 feet. Well,
That's 70. I think initially they weren't planning on
I think that wall.
as much disturbance as they created.
That wall got way away from them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's Dave's comment. Joe,
Oh, I have one other thing, excuse me.
You want-
I'm just kidding.
The chicken is really nice.
It belongs on top of the Christmas tree. I don't know. We have to put a, in
We
a
didn't even know it was
formal
here
request, a
until
public
Friday,
request.
actually.
You what?
So
Jim,
Jim gave it to Mark at a board meeting last month, and Mark took it home with him and said he was gonna bring it back, and it showed up back here for Friday when Aaron went on with Channel 7 to talk about the chickens, so it's
Nice.
sitting on a
really
desk.
liked it.
Nice.
oh, he's got eggs.
All you chicken lovers. I can use them all.
Merry Christmas.
We have 30 chickens at our place, so. Anybody doesn't need egg cartons, I'll be more than happy to take them along. And welcome to by the way.
Thank you. Jess will fill the one for us.
Joe, you got anything yet?
No, very bad, I ran out.
Jim?
I do. I want to thank Jennifer, Aaron, likely Roman and Travis. I'm sure they had a hand in it too. That's amazing to hear that feedback on, he had a positive experience with permit and a conditional use permit and the history of this municipality on working with that stuff is absolutely atrocious. And to see that we're starting to move the needle the other way and we're getting thumbs up, that's awesome. Doesn't happen by accident, thank you. We're not there yet, right? But we'll take the one win when we can get it.
Well, we would hear a lot of that stuff. You guys tend to only hear the people that
Yes.
don't wanna
Well, the
work with
negative
us,
stuff.
as Joe knows.
Exactly, yes.
So,
Yeah,
not a
when-
lot, people
when-
don't say a lot of nice things. I mean, we get maybe 1 or 2 a year for email and stuff, like,
Yeah, when you consider the scope of what we built at Weston Supply over a relatively short period of time, and the fact that we really did not have many issues, I think is still a compliment to the staff. And you are right, Jen, the only time you hear about it is when it ain't going exactly right.
yeah,
So-
otherwise people don't take the time.
Right.
But I think that happened
Yeah.
because likely, I don't know, I wasn't there, but
Yes, no, I agree.
there was a positive.
Yeah.
Like,
Positive
not, you
experience.
can't do this, it's
Right.
you can't do this without this other step, and here's how you do this other step, and here's how we're gonna help you get there.
Right.
And if you don't open that door and have a friendly, warm, welcoming path, that's where you get the nasty grams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reality of what we were dealing with before was all of the power was in the word no, as opposed to no, but here's what you need to do in order to facilitate that. And the staff has definitely come a long, long ways in trying to figure out ways to improve that for sure.
It's probably Jamie's fault. It didn't happen until this meeting, so thank you.
I have nothing except, Merry Christmas to everyone.
Same deal. Merry Christmas.
Next regular meeting date, Monday, January 8th, 2024 at 6 p.m. We have a lot of agenda items. Would that be right after the holidays? Or?
Right now I only have 2, and then I'm hoping to like introduce the comp plan so that you have time to read it.
Okay.
I'll get you a hard copy, so it'll be too hard to read over online, but
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Please.
Second,
Motion by Decent, second by Gary, because he was louder. On the question, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed, so carried.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Have a great night. Thank you.